Good evening, friends. It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Tonight, we're going to talk about the social dilemma again. We'll take a little different angle tonight, but I want to start off by referencing a point in the video or in the movie where in the story, if you watch the movie, there's a story that they create where a girl seems very attached to her phone and her social media. And there's a scene where somebody says something about she has big ears or something like that. And that causes her to pull her hair over her ears and hide them. It causes her to look in the mirror about herself. And at some point, you'll see if you've watched the movie, you'll see she actually starts to cry about the fact that she feels bad that her ears are big. I don't know any kid that hasn't had that experience where your feelings got hurt because somebody said something, whether it was an observation or they were maliciously trying to make you feel bad. But as kids, for me as a kid, my feelings were super sensitive. Like I could cry at an instant if somebody made fun of me or said something to me. And my defense mechanism to that was to learn how to fit in. Like I learned how to be what I needed to be so that people didn't make fun of me. Right? But look, I think the challenge with the social dilemma, like what we're starting to, all the anger that you're seeing in social media right now, all the clickbait, all the angst, there's a lot of, do we want to call it mental health issues? Or we could say this, mental health implications. Let's look at the comparison game. That's a big one. The comparison game is a big one. Grown-ass adults who, before trying to get into business and marketing and social media, had a sense of who they were, but then they started to try to do marketing and they looked at everybody else and saw what everybody else was doing and felt like they weren't enough. Like the comparison game alone is a mental health issue. And that's put on a loudspeaker or it's magnified by social media. Yes? And if we go back to yesterday's video about the social dilemma, we are training the algorithms based on what our behaviors are for what we want to consume. So if what we're engaging in is clicking on the things that we think are better than us to try to learn how to be a better version, or not a better version of ourselves, but to try to do it like they do it, right? Rather than simply speaking from our truth, then what happens is we get more of that. Great, you don't feel enough? Here's some more videos that might help you feel like you could be different than who you are. I think there's look, if you've got big ears, I have a big nose. I don't know if you can see this. I got a big nose. If you have big ears, good for you. Let's take it beyond the physical. But if you have a message for the world, you can't sit by and be afraid to put it out there because you're afraid somebody's going to make fun of it. This is, I think, where we're at. There's a lot of us who, like I said yesterday, there's a lot of us who see love. We get love, we understand love, and we're too afraid to put it out there in an environment that feels toxic and angry. We don't want our love to get bruised or treaded on. And so we hold on to it. And I get it. It's a survival mechanism. But again, if what we want is to change the frequency of what's happening, then I think we need to begin to open our mouth and share our light and love, because that's the thing that begins to change what the algorithms see we click on. Algorithms can only go on clicks. Clicks are the trigger for what algorithms see as success. Somebody engaged with this thing. That thing works, so let's do more of that thing. So if you and I, those of us who are in a space of love and light, started to open our mouths and share, right? In other words, if we shifted our focus from being afraid that we're going to get our feelings hurt to focusing on raising the frequency of our social media or our tech platforms or our communities, our connections digitally, then what would happen is I think we would start to see a cultural shift. Why? Because the cultural agreement about how we use these social networks changes. Right now, there's sort of a unspoken agreement that Twitter and Facebook and all these places are places you can just go blast people and be a keyboard warrior and blow people up and have no accountability for the feelings that you hurt. But if the cultural agreement shifted to how we choose to behave as humans on these platforms is from a place of love and light and authenticity and meaning, that we seek first to understand and we listen before we speak. Now, these become the places and the agreements that we post from. So I think if we did that, we would start to experience better health mentally, emotionally, because we wouldn't be so afraid. As a kid, I was just terrified to put myself out there because I knew that my feelings got hurt so easily. And you do that enough times and you just get embarrassed by how easily you get upset. So you just don't put yourself in situations to have that experience. And I think a lot of us carried that forward into our adult lives. And now here we are in social media land and we just know that we'll get our feelings hurt, so we don't share. And so then who does share? All the loud voices who are angry and toxic. And that's what becomes the norm. If you're in business to make change in the world, then the world needs to hear from you, because you and I have the opportunity to raise the vibration that we live in. So that's it tonight, gang. You have the opportunity to not only move past your own hurt by focusing on the love and light you want to share, but you have the opportunity by sharing that love and light to help others who are afraid to be hurt realize that it's not as bad as you think it is. It's not as bad. Like when you open your mouth and share, I remember for me, it was like the fear of being hurt was always greater than actually any hurt that came when I posted. Every time I rarely have posted and felt like I've been hurt by somebody judging me. In fact, it's the opposite. I feel like when I share from my truth and what is in my soul to say, I feel like I get love and acceptance and appreciation. It's the fear of being hurt. So this is what you get to move past, right? In your own business, you get to move past your fear of being hurt and realize that when you share from your truth, your love, your light, that people actually embrace that and thank you for it. If you'd like help learning more how to do that, you can go to groundswellmethod.com. I have a 6-week program that dives into how do you begin to capture what life has shared with you and pay it forward to those in order to raise the vibration or the frequency that we live in. If you'd like to learn more about that, you can go to groundswellmethod.com. The text is in the link. The link is in the text of this post, and there are 5 videos waiting for you there. If you like what you hear, you can apply for my next upcoming 6-week program. Thanks for hanging out with me here tonight. Until tomorrow, have a good night.